So, you're planning to move abroad all on your own. Planning a move abroad can be an exciting and life-changing time for sure, but it can also be very stressful and at times a little bit overwhelming. And although you will learn tons of things along the way to help make your life easier, a little bit of planning ahead of time can help make your transition into a new life in a new country as smooth and as seamless as possible. So if you want to make the most out of your move, do these 5 things before you move abroad. Number 1, build a support network. Come to terms with the fact that it's going to take you a while to make friends. You're not going to know people right away. As much as you like to think about it, like to dream of having so many friends in your new country, it's not realistic, at least in the beginning. So it's really important to have a support network and try to build one ahead of time so that at least you have some connections in your new country or new city before you move. Social media is your friend when doing this. There are tons of Facebook groups for foreigners living in the area, tons of interest groups for things to do around the city, so use these to your advantage and build a support group of like-minded people. Number 2, learn how to stay safe. So it is extremely important to always be vigilant, especially when traveling, but it's even more important when you're living in a foreign country, and especially living in a foreign country by yourself as a single woman or a single person in general. Get to know your area. What neighborhood should I stay away from? Is it safe to take the subway at night, or should I get an Uber? What are the common scams in my area that I should be aware of? Learn the emergency numbers that you need to know. So for police, fire, ambulance, everything, learn that ahead of time so that you're prepared in the event that something does happen. Also, talk to other women, especially single women, and ask them how they feel about where they're living. Do they feel safe? What do they recommend doing or not doing? Any tips that you should know? Knowing things like this will put you in the best position to stay as safe as possible living in your new city. Number 3, try to get practical help. Things like opening a bank account, maybe getting a new phone account, renting an apartment. All of these things can be extremely difficult as a foreigner living in a new country. So try to get as much help as possible from someone who lives in the country and knows a little bit more about the ins and outs of what you have to do in those situations. Also, if you're moving here for work or for school, give yourself a little bit of time to settle in before you have to do things. So if you know you have responsibilities here, make sure you give yourself ample amount of time to get here, get set up, move in, do all the things you have to do, and be able to relax a bit and get to know your town a little bit before you have to jump right into your responsibilities. Number 4, know how to take care of yourself. This one is extremely important. Moving abroad can be very stressful and can and will be very overwhelming at times. So it's very important to have a self-care routine that you can go to whenever you're feeling stressed and you need to just wind down and relax a bit. It's essential to have this in place before you move so that you know exactly what you need to do when it comes the time that you need to do it. So some things that you need to think about is, how will I manage stress? What will I do to stay healthy? How will I make sure that I have enough time to do the things that I enjoy doing that make me feel better? These are all important things to know beforehand, so I recommend having a go-to self-care plan for when you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed, because you will need to use it. And the final thing that I think you should know how to do before you move abroad is keep in touch. Know how to keep in touch with family and friends. Make a schedule if you have to. Decide with them, how are we going to keep in touch? Are we going to FaceTime? Am I going to text you when I can and you respond when you can? Do we set aside a certain time of day to text each other or to call each other? Make a plan of how you're going to communicate and how often you're going to communicate. This allows for everyone to be on the same page and ensures that you're able to keep in touch with your family as much as possible. So that is it for my 5 things that you should know before you move abroad. Of course, there are many things to know and a lot of things you don't learn until you actually just move, but I think these are the main 5 things that are very important for you to think about before you plan on moving somewhere. So I hope this video was helpful for you. As always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if you are planning on moving abroad, I would love to hear all about where you're moving to and things you're doing to prepare for your move. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!